The Toronto Blue Jays have one more spot left to fill in their bullpen, but could it be an internal option like Hayden Jenger? He's one of their top prospects and looks to be pretty close to the major leagues, so I'll bring you this prospect review on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse, and I want to thank you all for the support that we've been getting. It's been really awesome. And we're going to bring you this prospect review on Hayden Jenger today, who's one of the Blue Jays' most promising pitching prospects. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Yeah, we're 50 subs off 6,000, so make sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the daily content. But yeah, let's get right into the prospect review. He's gotten some traction on Twitter recently, and the MLB Pipeline had a little, updated review about him. But we'll pop up a few screenshots here. So let's just start with his scouting grade. So obviously he's 22 years old. His ETA is 2023. He has a 60 fastball, 55 slider, 50 changeup, 50 control, overall of 45, and again ETA of 2023. Which is interesting. Do you have any thoughts on him before we get in, or anything you've heard about him on Twitter? I've seen a few things saying that he could be an option next year in the bullpen, especially if we don't get another piece. Like, doesn't seem like we're going to get any more pieces in free agency, but it could be a very interesting internal option. He seems probably the most ready out of our prospects, or the most likely to get called up.
Yeah, well, he's definitely an option for the bullpen this year, but what stands out to me is that fastball, the 60 grade on that fastball. And he's reached up to 99. I don't know if he's touched 100 in the minor leagues, and he's also a starter. So that's pretty interesting as well for me. Now, whether that translates to the majors or not, it remains to be seen. But it never hurts to have high velo arms coming out of the bullpen and being shut down arms. So I'd like to see him get a chance. I'd like to see Nate Pearson get a chance. Junior Fernandez, Julian Fernandez, all those high velo arms. I want to see them get a real shot in spring training.
Yeah, and it's good to have, competitiveness like that, especially with Nate Pearson. Hopefully he can bounce back. He's kind of but if Hayden takes his spot, then it won't be too bad. But here's what they had to say about him. Working almost exclusively as reliever in Missouri State, Jenger struck out 31 batters over 21 innings with a 3.86 ERA. The Blue Jays then selected Jenger in the 6th round, and he made one of the best first impressions in the class, immediately convinced the organization he was ready for a challenge. Sent him to High Vancouver, where he posted a 2.7 ERA with 34 strikeouts over 20 innings, walking just 4 batters. So strikes out a lot of people, doesn't walk a lot of people, and obviously has a pretty good ERA. And it's just so now his fastball sits between 95 and 96, and like you said, it peaked at a 99 and beforehand, and reached a great slider as his top secondary pitch. Obviously, changeup developed nicely, but he's been limited. So, like you said, limited to 2 to 4 innings per outing at both of his stops in 2022, and the move has helped his stuff play up. It's promising enough for Arsenal to work through a lineup at least once, and that's valuable. And this is the key part here. Jenger is already knocking on Toronto's door and could be a major league option less than 2 years after his draft day, which will be this upcoming season. So, moving him to the bullpen, like it does with a lot of pitchers, made his stuff play up better. He has a great fastball, great slider. I'll show you a clip in a little bit here, but do you have any thoughts on that? And I'm just excited to maybe see him as early as he might break spring training camp.
Yeah, well, he's still very young, and one thing that sticks out to me just looking at his stats, he's gotten better every single year. Now, you look at him in college, he had an ERA close to 5, barely even a strikeout per inning, less than a strikeout per inning. Then he gets to the minor leagues and he starts striking out guys at a ridiculous clip, starts to throw harder, starts walking virtually no one in his first year. And then, like he just coming into his own, and it speaks to the Blue Jays player development, how well they draft. And he could be ready. He could be ready pretty soon. Now, his workload, I think, needs to expand a little bit. Now, I'd like to see him start a little bit more and maybe go longer in some games, just to give the Jays another option coming out of their starting rotation. But he's looked good. He's gotten better every year in the minors, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I think the best path for most of these major league prospects that aren't obviously top prospects is through the bullpen most of the time. Then you can transition to a starter there, so he'll probably end up being a bullpen. But speaking about his stats, like you said, in 2021 with High A, he had a 2.7 ERA in 11 games with 20 innings pitched. So obviously not very many innings pitched. He averages about 2 innings per outing, but he strikes out so many. 34 Ks in 20 innings, really solid. And then in 2022, in AAA, he actually improved in AAA compared to AA, which is very interesting. Still striking out, an okay amount. It toned down a little bit. Doesn't walk that many people, but his numbers in AAA and AA kind of got a bit worse. Does that worry you at all, or do you think that's just part of the growth with every prospect?
No, that's part of the growth. I think that's part of the growth, and he's gotten better every year. But once you hit double A, especially when you're a young player, that's probably the hardest level you're ever going to play in your life at that point. So double A is where all the top prospects are. It's where all the most talented guys are, and most MLB future MLB players um, go straight from double A to the major leagues. So uh, it doesn't surprise me that he struggled a little bit there. And then in triple A, he had a bit of an easier time. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does in 2023, whether he starts in the minors, which is probably the most likely route for him, or whether he makes the major league team out of camp. But I think you'll have a solid year. One more year of development is huge for a prospect, especially when you're in your 20s, early 20s. So he's going to be a good one, I think, and he's just got to iron a couple of things out before I think before I think he's ready for the majors, but should be fine.
Yeah, we have a lot of pitching prospects in the cusp, which makes it very interesting for management. But I'll pop up this video here. It shows you a little bit of the movement on his pitch from the vertical. You can see his fastball has a lot of movement. He throws obviously a great slider, but I don't know. He very solid. A lot of swing and miss potential there. I'll play it one more time for you, but I don't know. He looks pretty close to major league ready. But like you said, these extra development years help a lot with these pitchers. And I'll pop up this screenshot as well. So this is from on Twitter. Someone asked, "You think Zualeta pitches as a pen, or they try to ride him as a starter?" And Dan went on to say that I think him and Hayden Jenger are the most likely of the arms to get stretched out as starters to begin the year. So that's also another interesting point is if they don't have confidence in Mitch White or Yusei Kikuchi, maybe they stretch him out as a starter and try him in basically maybe he could be what Tomich Hatch was supposed to be, which do you have any thoughts on maybe stretching him out as a starter for the start of the year, or do you think they're probably better off going into the pen? I'd lean pen, but you never know.
Yeah, I'd also lean Penn. I mean, you could say you don't trust Yusei Kikuchi, but you're telling me you rather have a couple of rookies go at it as opposed to a lefty that throws 97 that's had some good flashes in the major leagues already. So that doesn't make sense to me. Um, I think Zulueta walks way too many people to be even considered for a starter job. He might get a job in the bullpen. That's not out of the question, and I wouldn't mind that at all because he's got the stuff to do it. But not for a starter job, not just yet. He might get there in a couple of years. And for Hayden Jenger, I mean, yeah, he didn't walk many guys in his first couple of years in the minors, but lately, I mean last year in 88 innings, 37 walks, which
Yeah,
is
bit
just quite a
concerning.
bit. That it's not. I don't know how concerning it is because I don't know if the Jays are relying on him just yet, but I'm sure he's got to figure that out before he's considered for a starter job in the major leagues.
Yeah, they definitely are obviously going to lean Yusei Kikuchi, and I have faith in him still. Yusei Kikuchi, that is, and the contract's obviously it's big. It's not huge now given the market, but it's I think they'd rather give him a shot over the rookie, and I think he'll probably have a better chance there, especially because he's had success in the past. But this was from another article saying this is on Hayden Jenger from Keith Madison saying the 2021 sixth rounder posted a 3.76 ERA over 88 innings last year, working as a multi-inning arm. It's a fascinating strategy to see emerging in the minor leagues as the Blue Jays try to actively develop this type of reliever. He'll be an option for AAA immediately and could be a high strikeout option at some point in 2023. So that kind of alludes to the fact that it seems like every writer, every Blue Jays reporter seems to be pointing at the fact that he could be an option in 2023. Maybe it's a September call up, maybe earlier. I think it kind of depends on how everyone else plays. They'll probably give Nate Pearson a shot before Hayden Jenger, assuming that Nate Pearson is like healthy and looking to go. But high strikeout option is you can never have enough of them.
Yeah, exactly. And basically the theme of the Blue Jays offseason, besides kind of getting more versatile, is if you have a pulse and you throw over 98 miles an hour, you're gonna have a chance to crack the big league roster. Now, I don't know why we couldn't do that in our lives, Nick, but
Wasn't meant to be.
whatever. I'm okay. I'm okay where I'm at right now. I won't dwell on the past. But I think that's just how it goes. The Jays don't have a lot of high power arms in their bullpen right now, and I guess if you do throw hard and you're in the Jays system, you're going to get a chance, a fair chance to crack the big league roster, and it's better that way. They need high velocity. They need guys that limit the home run ball, and if Janger and Zulueta can do that, then they might have a real shot to make the big league team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who wins out of all the relievers that are trying to break into spring training camp. It'll be very interesting to cover, and we'll be covering all that right here. That's gonna end the video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 6K, and we'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.
Thanks.